So, I was at the beach the other day thinking about the next round of coronavirus stimulus checks. It doesn't seem to be much question as to whether or not there will be one. The question is, how much is it going to be and who's going to qualify?
Who's going to qualify for this second round payment? Same group as last time? Different group? Maybe individuals not at all. Let's take a look at what we know so far before this water gets any deeper.
President Trump was quoted in the Washington Post as being largely supportive of another round of coronavirus stimulus payments to help the U.S. economy. This past week, he's been vocal about giving Americans more money. We will be doing another stimulus package. It will be very good. It will be great. It will be very generous. Trump said in an interview with Washington correspondent Joe St. George past Monday. Senate Majority Leader Mitch Frankenberry McConnell, don't ask me why, but he reminds me of Frankenberry, has set a July deadline to make a decision on whether Americans will see a second stimulus check or not. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has already passed the HEROES Act, which would authorize a second round of payments if signed into law. In its current existing form, this is about as likely as spotting Nancy Pelosi wearing a MAGA hat or seeing AOC in the Bronx. So who is going to qualify? Right now, that totally depends on which bag of hot air is actually speaking. Depending on which leader is talking, an extra stimulus check could be available to more people than the first, fewer people than the first.
Less enemies for us.
Fewer. What?
Or give money only to businesses and not to individuals at all. If you look back on the CARES Act passed in March, these were the ineligibles. A single taxpayer with an adjusted gross income above $99,000, a head of household with an adjusted gross income over $136,500, a married couple with AGI over $198, children over 16 and college students under 24, and non-resident aliens as defined by the U.S. government. The HEROES Act, passed by the House of Representatives in May, proposes broad benefits to individuals, families, and categories that were skipped by the first stimulus check, including most college students and people who are not U.S. citizens. This is going to be its biggest sticking point and likely downfall in the Senate. If it miraculously does pass the Senate, Trump will veto it faster than you can say, "Stay thirsty, my friends."
He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
The Senate has called this bill dead on arrival. Some suggest that if there is a second stimulus payment, it should be targeted to people in most urgent need. That would mean far fewer people would receive a check or bank account deposit from the IRS. There just aren't a lot of confirmed details yet, but here are some of the leading thoughts on who might qualify for broad financial support a second time. Individuals who made less than $99,000 according to adjusted gross income on their 2018 or 2019 tax returns. College students, dependents over 17, and disabled relatives, and a taxpayer's parent. Families of up to 5 people. People who are not U.S. citizens and file a tax return, pay taxes, and otherwise comply with federal tax law. This is all pretty speculative at this point, but there are some different ways exclusion from a potential second stimulus check could play out. Number 1, nobody qualifies. A stimulus package could be signed into law that gives tax credits and other incentives to businesses. It's possible some people could get a travel or dining credit, but not a check. Number 2, people who make too much money. If another round of stimulus payment does pass, but allocations are smaller for IRS payments, it's possible there could be a lower maximum yearly income or adjusted gross income on the tax form to qualify. In other words, people who make more than a certain amount that's lower than the current cutoff of $99,000 could potentially be left out of a second round. Number 3, carryover exclusions from the current CARES Act. Young people between 18 and 24, people who aren't U.S. citizens but pay taxes, and people who are incarcerated. They may be left out as well. In any event, we're not likely to get any confirmation until after the Senate returns from its July recess on July 20th. Given that Frankenberry has already stated the deadline to decide is July, that gives them 11 days to get their ish together. In the meantime, Americans are left to scratch out a living as best they can. In my humble opinion, what we need more than free money are good jobs. So let's get the country open again, responsibly, utilizing best practices, and let's get back to work. Alright, I know this is totally off topic for the video. However, you are witnessing a sight rarely, if ever, seen before. That's Junior Recruiter there in the gray and yellow rash guard top, actually putting his feet in the ocean. Junior Recruiter never puts his feet in the ocean. This is a landmark day. Mark the date. We might never see this again. We are here with Junior Recruiter, who just put his feet in the ocean. Junior, how you feeling? How is the water?
Yuck.
Yuck!
Yuck.
Well, you heard it right here, folks. Speaking of getting back to work, if you secure any job interviews, they are likely to take place over video conference. Click into this playlist here for some great tips on how to ace one of those. Enjoy the rest of your job-seeking day. Stay classy, YouTube. See you next time. Peace!